Is it possible for a global idol who always appears strong on stage to eventually break down in front of millions of fans? This is exactly what happened when Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, could no longer hold back his tears in an emotionally charged moment. The event became even more poignant when Jin, the oldest member who had just returned, apologized with a trembling voice for his lateness. This single, brief event captured the attention of millions of eyes and became a major highlight in various circles, both in the media and among fans. For ARMY, this moment was not just an ordinary scene on stage or a spontaneous interaction between group members. Jungkook's tears became a symbol of the depth of the brotherhood between them. For years, the public has seen Jungkook as a tough, energetic figure who rarely shows his vulnerable side. But this time, his wall of fortitude crumbled. He could no longer contain the pent-up feelings, and Jin's late arrival only triggered that emotional explosion. Why did Jin apologize? This question immediately spread among fans. Jin had just completed personal responsibilities that caused him to arrive late at an important moment with the other members. Although the lateness could be considered trivial by some, for Jin, every second with the group and fans is invaluable. Deep guilt compelled him to stand before everyone, bow his head, and deliver an apology in a very sincere tone. As those words were spoken, Jungkook, who was sitting next to him, immediately sobbed. His hands repeatedly wiped his face, as if trying to hide the tears that continued to flow. But the camera clearly captured that emotional expression, and in an instant, the entire arena was filled with cheers and cries from the fans. This moment served as a reminder that even the biggest stars in the world are still human beings full of feelings, love, and honesty. The power of that moment also lies in the contrast between Jin, who was trying to be strong, and Jungkook, who could no longer hold back his emotions. Jin, with his deep voice, tried to calm the atmosphere. He emphasized that he regretted arriving late and thanked Jungkook and the other members who had always faithfully waited for him. Those simple words felt very profound because they came from sincerity. Jungkook, known as the Golden Magne, seemed to show the world that he was not a perfect figure without flaws, but a human who could be vulnerable when it came to people who meant so much to him. The reaction of fans around the world was extraordinary. Social media was filled with video clips, photos, and emotional comments. Many ARMY admitted to crying when they saw Jungkook's tears. They felt as if they were witnessing a true brotherhood that could not be engineered. Jin's apology was considered concrete evidence of how seriously he valued time together, and how every member of BTS always puts togetherness above everything else. This event also sparked a wide discussion about the dynamics of the relationships between BTS members. Quite a few pop culture observers judged that this moment revealed an emotional depth rarely seen in the entertainment industry. Behind the glitz of the stage, the pressure, and the hectic schedules, there is a human side that is often forgotten. When Jungkook cried and Jin apologized, the world seemed to be reminded that BTS is not just a music group, but also a family that supports each other. Interestingly, this moment is not just about tears and apologies. More than that, it presents a collective reflection. Do we, as viewers, truly understand the weight of the emotional journey of the artists we admire? Was Jin's lateness just a normal technical matter, or actually a symbol of the long struggle he faced? Jungkook cried not merely because Jin was late, but because there was a deeper meaning. Feelings of loss, longing, and gratitude mixed into one when they finally reunited over time. That moment is predicted to remain remembered as one of the most emotional events in BTS history. It is not just an entertainment news item, but a piece of a story that will continue to be discussed in the ARMY community around the world. Jungkook, who usually appears perfect, finally showed his most vulnerable side. Jin, with his apology, actually strengthened his image as a hyung full of responsibility and affection. No luxurious stage, lighting effects, or complicated choreography could beat the power of honesty in that moment. Jungkook cried, Jin apologized, and the world paused for a moment to witness the beauty of a true human relationship. But behind all the emotion displayed, a big question arises that should not be ignored. Did the moment of Jungkook crying and Jin apologizing really happen as reported, Or is there a possibility that this is just a fabrication to attract public attention? Are we, as viewers, too quick to get caught up in emotions without considering logic and real evidence? Many fans immediately believed that Jungkook's tears were a sign of sincerity that could not be faked. But is it true that every tear in front of the camera always comes from pure feelings? What if that moment was deliberately highlighted by the media or cut in such a way as to form a narrative that invites sympathy? Have we ever stopped for a moment to question the authenticity of viral video clips on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitter? The next question that deserves reflection: was Jin's remorseful apology really delivered with a sincere background? Or could it just be part of a scenario designed for viewers to see his emotional side? International entertainment media often use dramatic narratives to increase appeal. So, how do we distinguish between emotional truth and clever marketing strategies? Keep in mind that information about this moment is widely spread from various social media sources, ranging from fan accounts, live streaming clips, to online entertainment news. But do all of these sources have the same verification standards? Isn't it possible that there is video editing manipulation, excessive framing, or even the spread of hoaxes to increase the popularity of certain content? If that's the case, aren't we becoming victims of a perception game that was deliberately created? At this point, viewers should ask themselves, why are we so easily touched by certain moments without rechecking their validity? Do the emotions we feel really come from facts, or from stories that are neatly packaged so that we get caught up in them? If a news story can make millions of people cry, doesn't that also mean it has the power to direct opinions massively, whether in the right or wrong direction? Let's reflect more deeply. What if the moment Jungkook cried actually happened, but the context behind it was different from what was reported? What if Jin apologized not for being late to an important moment, but for another reason that the media did not reveal? If that's the case, aren't we only receiving a small piece of a much more complex story? Are we willing to believe half the truth just because the narrative sounds beautiful and touching? This phenomenon shows the importance of skepticism in an era of information overload. We can no longer swallow whole what we see on social media. Every video clip, photo, or article must be viewed with critical eyes. Who is spreading it? What is their purpose? Is there a certain motive behind the virality of a moment? Does the media we consume really convey facts, or simply manipulate emotions for financial gain and popularity? Questions like these are important for us to keep asking. If we fail to be critical, then we will easily get caught up in the vortex of sensationalism. We could cry with Jungkook, be swept away by Jin's apology, but on the other hand, we don't realize that there may be other interests at play behind the scenes. Then, will we remain silent and let ourselves be carried away by the current, or start learning to control that flow of information ourselves? We must realize that in the global entertainment industry, every small detail can be a tool to build an image. Tears can be a symbol of honesty, but they can also be used as a commodity sold to gain